It is also a story about belief, courage, and how small steps can change the whole world. While you listen, you also practice English. Every sentence is clear and easy, so you can learn and, at the same time, you can feel inspired. Have you ever felt small? Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I am not strong enough. I am not smart enough. I cannot do something big? Many people feel this way. They go to school, they go to work, they follow the same path as everyone else. Deep inside, they dream of something more, but the dream feels far away. It feels like big dreams are only for special people, maybe for rich families, or for people who are already powerful. This feeling makes people stop before they even try. But here's the truth. Every person who changed the world started as ordinary. They were once small, weak, and unsure. They also had doubts. The only difference is this. They decided to believe in their dream, even when no one else believed in them. They chose to act when others stayed still. They took one more step when others gave up. This is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Ordinary is doing the same as everyone else. Extraordinary is when you take the same small life and turn it into something great. Doubt says, you cannot. Belief says, maybe I can. And this one thought can change everything. Larry Page, the co-founder of Google, also started small. He was not born a billionaire. He was not famous as a child. He was just a curious boy, asking questions, dreaming of ideas, and trying to understand how things worked. Many people around him lived normal lives, but Larry looked at the world and thought, what if I can make information easy for everyone? What if I can change how people find knowledge? At that time, the internet was slow and confusing. Searching for answers was difficult. People wasted time. It was ordinary to accept this problem, but Larry believed something better was possible. This belief made him extraordinary. He was not different from you. He was not different from me. He only chose to see his dream as possible. So, when you listen to this story, I want you to remember, Larry Page was once an ordinary person, just like you. He had doubts. He had fears. But he also had belief. And belief gave him courage. This courage gave him action. And his actions gave us something we all use today: Google. Now you may wonder, how did this boy with simple dreams grow into a man who changed the world? How did he turn doubt into belief and belief into action? Let's go back to the beginning to understand how Larry Page's story started. Early life and curiosity. Larry Page was born into a world of books, questions, and machines. His parents were both teachers, and they loved science and technology. So, the house where Larry grew up was not a quiet place. It was full of books, magazines, and computers. Many children see toys first when they wake up. Larry saw pages of information, pages of ideas. This shaped his mind in a very special way. When Larry was small, he was not like most children. Many children play games just for fun. They play without asking questions. But Larry always asked, why does this work? How does this move? What is inside this machine? He wanted to understand, not just enjoy. This was the start of his journey. It may look small, but every big dream begins with small questions. Larry's curiosity showed in many ways. He liked to take things apart. If he saw a toy car, he wanted to open it and see what was inside. If he saw a machine, he wanted to know what made it move. At times, this made his parents smile, and sometimes it made them worried, because broken toys could not be fixed again. But for Larry, the joy was not in keeping the toy perfect. The joy was in learning how it worked. Imagine two children side by side. One child plays with a toy and then leaves it. The other child takes the toy apart, studies every piece, and thinks of how to make something new. The first child enjoys the moment, but the second child learns something that can last forever. Larry was that second child. He was not afraid of making mistakes. He was hungry to learn. Books were also his close friends. While some children only looked at pictures, Larry read with focus. He wanted to know about computers, machines, and inventions. His parents supported this. They gave him space to explore and to ask questions. Sometimes his questions were difficult, but instead of stopping him, his parents encouraged him to keep searching for answers. This helped his curiosity grow stronger. Larry also loved music, and he played instruments. Even here, his curiosity appeared. He did not just play notes. He wanted to know why the notes sounded good together, why rhythm worked, why sound could move people's hearts. For him, every part of life was a chance to ask why and how. This constant curiosity built the seed of his future. Most people see the world and accept it as it is. Larry saw the world and thought, can it be better? Can I make it better? This simple difference is the root of invention. Curiosity is the first step. It is like a seed in the soil. If you water it with questions and learning, it can grow into something strong. But curiosity alone does not give results. Many people are curious, but never act. They ask why, but they stop there. Larry's story teaches us that curiosity must join with courage. You must dare to take action, to risk mistakes, and to keep going even when it is hard. This next part of his journey shows how curiosity grew into courage. But curiosity alone is not enough. To grow, he needed courage. Facing fear and taking risks. Every person who dreams faces a moment of choice. One road feels safe. It is the road everyone knows. It has less danger, but it also has less chance for greatness. The other road is unknown. It feels risky. It may lead to failure, but it may also lead to something big. Larry Page reached this moment. He had to choose between a normal path and a daring path. Most people prefer the safe path. They go to school, finish their degree, find a job, and live quietly. There is nothing wrong with this choice, but it is often filled with limits. The safe path gives comfort, but it rarely creates history. Fear keeps people inside their comfort zone. They think, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I lose everything? And so they never try. Larry felt fear too. He was not a superhuman without worry. He also wondered if his ideas were too big, too impossible. But inside, his curiosity was stronger than his fear. He asked himself, what if I do not try? What if I waste my life being safe while the world needs change? This question gave him courage. At that time, Larry could have chosen a normal career. He was intelligent, so he could have become a professor, an engineer, or a business worker. That life would have been stable. But Larry did not want only stability. He wanted impact. He wanted to solve a problem that was slowing down the whole world, the problem of searching for information. To take this risk, Larry had to step away from the normal path. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff. Behind you is safety. In front of you is open air. To reach the other side, you must jump. Many people turn back. Larry chose to jump. His idea might fail. People might reject him. but he still believed that trying was better than never knowing. This is the difference between fear and bravery. Fear whispers, "Stay here, do not move." Bravery whispers, "Go forward, you may fall, but you may also fly." Larry listened to bravery, and because he took risks, he opened the door to something new. Taking risks did not mean life became easy. In fact, it became harder. He worked late into the night. He tested ideas again and again. Sometimes things broke. Sometimes he felt alone. But risk has this secret. It makes you stronger. When you step into fear, you discover courage you never knew you had. Larry's story shows us that big change always requires risk. If you only do what is safe, you will only get ordinary results. If you are willing to try, even if you fail, then you have a chance at extraordinary results. Success is never guaranteed, but failure is certain if you never try. Larry Page dared to dream bigger than others. He took the road less traveled. He accepted the fear and still moved forward. And because of this, his journey began to grow. But his courage alone was not enough. Even the bravest dreamers need help. But no one wins alone. Larry needed a partner. Meeting Sergey Brin. Life has a way of bringing the right people together at the right time. Larry Page had courage and vision, but he still needed something more. He needed a person who could challenge him, push him, and help him turn his dream into reality. That person was Sergey Brin. Larry and Sergey first met at Stanford University. Both were graduate students, both curious, and both full of questions about the future of technology. Their first meeting was not soft or gentle. In fact, they argued. Sergey loved to debate, and Larry also had strong opinions. Some people would see this as conflict, but for them, it was the beginning of respect. They realized that their minds were sharp and their differences could help them grow. At first, Larry thought about his search engine idea alone. He had the courage to dream, but he was only one person. He could write code and test ideas, but the project was heavy. Sergey had skills in math and analysis. When they began to talk, their ideas started to connect. Larry explained his vision, a search engine that ranked pages by importance, not just by words. Sergey listened, questioned, and added his own thoughts. Slowly, the debate became teamwork. Think of one candle. It gives light, but only a little. Now think of two candles side by side. Together, they shine brighter. That was Larry and Sergey. Alone, they were strong. Together, they were unstoppable. Many people believe they must do everything by themselves. They fear asking for help. They fear sharing ideas. They think, if I work alone, I will get all the credit. But working alone often limits growth. Collaboration is like adding fuel to a fire. The flame rises higher. Larry and Sergey proved this truth. Their partnership was not about being the same. It was about being different in a useful way. Larry was more quiet, more focused on vision. Sergey was more energetic, always testing and questioning. Together, they balanced each other. When Larry felt unsure, Sergey pushed. When Sergey moved too fast, Larry slowed him down. The mix was powerful. They started spending long hours together, talking, coding, and testing. Sometimes they disagreed. Sometimes they argued again. But under every debate was the same dream: to make searching the internet faster, easier, and better for everyone. Slowly, respect grew into trust. Trust grew into friendship. And friendship grew into a team that would soon change the digital world. It is important to see this lesson clearly. Larry had courage, but without Sergey, the journey would have been harder and maybe even impossible. Success is rarely a solo act. Behind every great story, there are partnerships, mentors, or friends who help. Collaboration multiplies power. It is the bridge from a small idea to a big impact. For Larry and Sergey, that bridge had now been built. Their minds were united by a dream, their hearts were ready for the challenge, and their hands were ready to work. Together, they started something small, but small things can grow into giants. The birth of Google. Larry Page and Sergey Brin now had a dream, and they had each other. Their next step was to take the dream out of their minds and put it into reality. They began building a search engine. At first, it was only a small project inside the university, but soon they needed more space, more time, and more energy. And so the birth of Google began in a place that was not special at all, a small garage in California. Think about the internet before Google. It was like a giant library without order, millions of books, but no shelves, millions of words, but no guide. If you searched online, you often became lost. Pages loaded slowly. Results were messy. People wasted hours trying to find simple answers. Many gave up in frustration. That was the old internet, confusing, slow, and heavy. Larry and Sergey looked at this chaos and thought differently. They believed information should be fast, clear, and simple. Their idea was to rank websites by importance, by how many other pages linked to them. This way, the best and most useful pages would appear first. The system was smart, and the results were powerful. In the small garage, they worked day and night. The garage was not fancy. It had simple desks, some old computers, and wires everywhere. The smell of coffee filled the air. Sometimes the machines broke. Sometimes the code failed. But each problem was only fuel for their determination. They believed the world needed this search engine, and they would not stop until it worked. Slowly, Google was born. At first, only a few people used it. Then, word spread. Students began to use it for homework. Teachers used it for research. Business people used it to find information quickly. For the first time, the internet began to feel like a tool for everyone, not just for experts. The difference was clear. Before Google, people searched for hours. After Google, they found answers in seconds. Before Google, information was a maze. After Google, it was a map. This was not just technology. This was freedom. The freedom to learn, to grow, to discover. Imagine a student who once struggled to find a single fact for a school project. Now, with Google, knowledge was only a few clicks away. Imagine a mother who needed health information for her family. Instead of waiting days for answers, she could learn in moments. This change was life-changing, and yet it all began with something small. 2 young men in a garage following a dream. This is the beauty of big ideas. They often start in small places. A garage, a bedroom, a library. These simple rooms can be the birthplace of giants. Larry and Sergey did not wait for perfect conditions. They did not wait until they had money or fame or support. They started with what they had, and they worked with persistence. Their small idea solved one of the biggest problems of their time. The lesson here is powerful. You do not need to start big to make a big difference. You only need to start. Small ideas, when full of belief and effort, can change the lives of millions. But even with a great idea, they faced rejection. Rejection and persistence. The new search engine was working. Google was faster, clearer, and smarter than anything before. Students loved it. Teachers loved it. Ordinary people began to notice it. But there was one big problem. Larry and Sergey needed money to grow it. Computers, servers, and electricity were expensive. Without support, Google could not survive. So, they went to investors. They carried their idea, their dream, and their hope. But the answers they received were not what they expected. One by one, investors said, no. Some said the idea was too strange. Some said the internet was only a passing trend. Others said, why do we need another search engine? We already have enough. Each no was like a door closing. Each no was heavy on their hearts. For many people, rejection is the end. They try once, they hear no, and they stop. They think, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe the world is right, and I should give up. Fear of failure wins, and dreams are buried. This is the path of quitting. But Larry and Sergey chose a different path. They did not stop. Yes, the rejections hurt. Yes, the nights felt long. There were times when money was low and the future was unclear. But instead of quitting, they used rejection as fuel. They worked harder. They improved their system. They told themselves, if people cannot see the value yet, we will show them. Imagine them late at night in that small garage. The world is asleep, but the lights are still on. Coffee cups on the desk, screens glowing, code running. Their bodies are tired, but their minds are alive. They believe that this search engine matters. They believe that one day the world will understand. This is the power of persistence. Rejection is not the end. It is only a test. It asks, how much do you really want this? Will you stop at the first difficulty, or will you push forward? Larry and Sergey answered with action. They pushed forward. Finally, after many months of no, small doors began to open. A few people started to listen. A few investors began to believe. Slowly, the no turned into maybe, and maybe turned into yes. Their persistence created trust. Their persistence opened the way to support. The contrast is clear. Quitting would have killed Google before it was born. Persistence gave it life. Quitting is easy. Continuing is hard. But only those who continue can reach their dream. Larry and Sergey's story teaches us that rejection is part of every journey. No one succeeds without hearing no. The difference between failure and success is not talent, not luck, not money. It is persistence. It is the decision to keep walking when the road is dark. So if you face rejection in your own life, remember this story. Every no can bring you closer to a yes if you do not stop. Rejection is not the end. Persistence changes destiny. Finally, after rejection came recognition, success, and growth. The long nights, the hard work, and the endless no finally began to change. Investors started to believe. Support began to come. And slowly, the small project that was born in a garage started to grow into something far bigger. Google was no longer just a dream of two students. It was becoming a tool for the whole world. At first, the growth was quiet. A few more students used it. A few more teachers recommended it. A few businesses discovered how much time it could save. Each new user told another person, and step by step, the numbers began to rise. Growth often looks slow in the beginning. It feels invisible, like seeds hidden under the ground. But if you keep working, those seeds push through the soil and grow into strong plants. That is exactly what happened with Google. Soon, people everywhere were talking about it. A young student in Asia used Google to finish homework in half the time. A doctor in Europe used it to read medical research quickly. A business owner in Africa used it to find new ideas for trade. Across the world, lives began to change because finding information became easier. The Garage Project was no longer small. It was spreading across countries, cultures, and languages. The contrast was powerful. Yesterday, it was only two young men in a small garage. Today, it was a growing company with offices, workers, and dreams of expansion. Yesterday, the internet was confusing and slow. Today, the internet began to feel simple, organized, and clear. The dream was becoming a global reality. Larry and Sergey watched with amazement. Growth was not magic. It came from persistence, belief, and action. They did not grow by waiting. They grew by building, testing, and improving every single day. Growth is like climbing a mountain. Each step feels small, but if you keep walking, one day you look back and see how high you have reached. Google's growth was not only in numbers, it was also in vision. New ideas came: email, maps, videos, translations. Each one was connected to the same goal: organize the world's information and make it useful for everyone. The dream was expanding, and so was the responsibility. But here is the truth. Success is not the end. Growth brings new challenges. Expansion brings new choices. The higher you climb, the more careful you must be. For Larry and Sergey, the question was not only, can we grow, but also, how do we grow the right way? But success is not the end. It brings new choices. Staying true to vision. Success can be dangerous. Many people dream of it, but once they reach it, they forget why they started. They begin to chase only money, fame, or comfort. They lose the focus that gave them power in the first place. Larry Page understood this risk very clearly. From the beginning, he believed in a simple vision: organize the world's information and make it useful for everyone. That vision was the heartbeat of Google. As the company grew, the pressure grew too. Investors wanted profits. Competitors tried to copy their ideas. The world expected them to deliver more and more. In such moments, it is easy to become distracted. Many companies, after finding success, change direction. They forget their purpose. But Larry and Sergey refused to let that happen. They reminded themselves and their team of the core mission. Information should be clear, fast, and helpful for all people. Story after story shows this focus. When they created Gmail, it was not only about sending messages, it was about helping people communicate faster and store important information safely. When they built Google Maps, it was not only about directions, it was about giving people the power to explore the world, to discover new places, to never feel lost again. When they bought YouTube, it was not about owning videos. It was about sharing knowledge, entertainment, and voices from every corner of the globe. Each new step was connected to the same vision: making information more useful. The contrast was clear. Other companies chased quick money, adding products that did not fit their purpose. Google, however, stayed rooted. Each new branch of the company grew from the same trunk: the mission to organize information. That is why people trusted Google. It was not just a company. It was a guide, a tool, almost a friend that helped them in daily life. Larry knew something important. Vision is like a compass. When the path is confusing, the compass shows the way. When storms come, the compass keeps you from getting lost. Without vision, even success can turn into failure. With vision, even failure can lead back to growth. The lesson is powerful for our own lives. We all face distractions. We all meet moments where it feels easier to follow money, comfort, or popularity instead of purpose. But real success is not about how high you rise. It is about how true you stay to the dream that started your journey. Larry Page's story reminds us that a clear vision is stronger than fear, stronger than rejection, and even stronger than success itself. And this vision teaches us a lesson for our own lives. Lessons for you and me. Larry Page's story is not only about him, it is about every person who dreams of something bigger. Many people live ordinary lives. They follow routines. They do what is easy. They wait for luck to come. But extraordinary results do not come from waiting. They come from action, from effort, and from small steps taken every day. Imagine a student in a small town. Every day they go to school, study, and go home. They dream of a better future, but it feels far away. They can take the first step by asking questions, learning new things, and practicing curiosity. Each question is like a seed, growing knowledge that can change their life. Imagine a worker in a busy office. They feel tired, unnoticed, and small. But if they take courage, they can try new ideas, help their team, or start learning new skills. Each brave step builds confidence. Each risk taken opens doors that once seemed impossible. Imagine a dreamer with a simple idea. They fear failure. They hear no from others. But persistence can turn no into yes. Like Larry and Sergey, they can work day and night, improve their ideas, and share them with the world. Small actions, repeated every day, can grow into something great. The lessons are clear. Curiosity helps you see the world differently. Courage pushes you to act even when you are afraid. Persistence keeps you going when others give up. Together, these qualities can turn ordinary people into extraordinary creators. Larry was once ordinary, just like you and me. He was curious, he took risks, and he never stopped. These simple habits made him powerful. They gave him the chance to change the world. And the same is possible for everyone who chooses to act. Your life can grow, step by step, day by day, if you believe in your ideas and keep working on them. So, what can we take away from Larry's journey? The power of belief. One of the most important lessons from Larry Page's story is belief. Belief in yourself is more powerful than skill, luck, or resources. Many people stop because they do not believe in themselves. They listen to doubt, criticism, or fear. They think, I cannot do this. I am not ready. The world will not understand me. Self-doubt is easy. It is common. But self-belief is rare. Larry faced doubt many times. Investors said no. People questioned his ideas. Some friends and colleagues thought his dream was impossible. It would have been easy to stop, to give up, to follow a safer path. Many would have done exactly that. But Larry believed in his vision. He believed that the world needed a better way to find information. He held on to that dream, even when others could not see it. Belief is like a light in a dark room. Doubt closes the door, but belief opens it. Larry's belief gave him courage to take risks, to keep learning, and to continue working despite obstacles. It helped him turn frustration into action, failure into lessons, and small ideas into something that could change millions of lives. Imagine if Larry had stopped after the first rejection. Imagine if he had listened to every person who said it could not be done. Google might never exist. But because he believed, he moved forward. He inspired Sergey. He inspired his team. And he created a tool that billions of people use every day. Belief started the whole transformation. This lesson is not only for Larry, it is for all of us. Every dream, every idea, every goal begins with belief. When you start to believe in yourself, even when others doubt you, you begin to act. You begin to create. You begin to change your life. Belief gives energy, focus, and strength. Without it, even the best ideas stay invisible. With it, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Larry Page's journey teaches us that the world may not understand you at first. Friends may question you. The path may be hard, but if you keep believing, the impossible can become possible. Belief is the first step toward every success. And now, let us end with hope for your own journey. Conclusion. Your journey ahead. Your journey is just beginning. Think about the difference between doing nothing and taking action. Doing nothing keeps life comfortable, but it also keeps dreams small. Taking action can be hard, full of fear and full of mistakes, but it is also full of hope, learning, and growth. Larry Page chose action. He believed, he risked, and he worked every day to build something extraordinary. And because of this, he changed the world. Now, imagine yourself in Larry's shoes. You have dreams, ideas, and curiosity. You may feel small or unsure, but these feelings do not stop you. Every small step you take, every question you ask, every hour you spend learning brings you closer to your goals. You can be a creator, a problem solver, or a leader. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one small step, and today is the perfect day to take it. Learning English is one of these small steps. Each word you read, each sentence you speak, each story you listen to, gives you new knowledge and new power. Like Larry, you are planting seeds today that will grow into amazing opportunities tomorrow. Curiosity, courage, persistence, and belief will guide you. Even when the path feels hard, even when others doubt you, you can keep moving forward. Remember, your dreams are yours to build. The pain of doing nothing may feel safe, but the joy of creating, learning, and growing is far greater. Every choice you make can bring you closer to the life you imagine. You can start with one idea, one question, one small action today, and each day continue to build, improve, and believe in yourself. And here is a special reminder: you do not have to do this alone. On my YouTube channel, Read and Learn English, I upload every day with new stories, lessons, and tips to help you practice English while learning from motivational stories like Larry Page's. Every video is a step to help you grow, just like Larry grew step by step with Google. Take action today. Keep learning. Keep believing. Keep dreaming. Your journey ahead is full of possibilities, and your small steps can lead to extraordinary success, just like Larry's story shows. The world is waiting for your ideas.